Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a high level best of 5 between Cure here in the bottom left and his teammate, the Protoss player, Clem. Clem, who has been playing exclusively Protoss over the past few months when it comes to these PvT matchups. I still do believe that his actual Terran versus Terran is significantly better than his Protoss versus Terran, or significantly, quite a little bit better than his Protoss versus Terran. But I also believe he might have a higher skill cap on PvT. I think TvT always, there's mirror matchups, it's always hard to be very consistent in them. And with Clem's knowledge of Terran versus Protoss, I think he has the potential to become extremely good in this matchup, to become one of the best, well, he already is one of the best players in the world in this matchup, but to really become the best player in the world in this matchup. His Protoss is absolutely phenomenal, but it's not quite, I mean, his Terran is the best, so, you know, it's difficult to compete with yourself if you're already so freaking good. He's opening up with a very standard opener. This is one thing that I've actually been extremely disappointed by when watching Clem play. Because very often when you watch high-level players off-race, they'll have like this fun variety in strategies. They might even try to figure some stuff out themselves, you know, some insights that other players don't. But Clem actually just copies max packs pretty much one-on-one. A one-to-one. Like he doesn't really innovate at all. Like he's a mechanical monster and he uses that well, but I feel like he could greatly benefit from adding in a couple of different build orders into the rotation rather than just sticking with the standard 2-3 gate blink that he has been playing so freaking much. Either way, he's going to be sending out both of these adapts across the map, see if he can do a little bit of damage. He must have quite some belief in his own abilities with this. It's going to be dealing with 2 Hellions and a Reaper. At the same time, there's a Reaper on the other side of the map that's already taking out one worker. Might even go for a second one here. Yeah, this is quite a bit of damage that he's taking. Now, at the same time, he's also dealing quite a bit of damage by delaying that command center for a fairly long time. So losing 2 workers against stopping this CC from working for like, well, what is this? Half a minute? 40 seconds maybe? Is of course also going to be kind of a big deal over here. Both of these adepts will end up falling most likely, as the Hellions are out at this point. And I think this adept won't be capable of finishing it shade either. There we go. Well done by Cure as he starts a medevac. Has a mine drop behind this. And Clem has the robo. Let's see where his units are actually. Wait, he has no units. I was wondering like where his units positioned, but that's a weird question because he has none. He's going to end up losing this Stalker as well. We'll clear one more Hellion. This is not looking great for Clem units-wise. Eco-wise, it's probably fine. But he needs to survive as well. And in order to do that, he's going to need to get some fat hits here somewhere. There's only 2 gateways out right now. None of the Stalkers are in the correct, or neither of the Stalkers are in the correct position. There's only 2. The Hellion comes in. Here comes the Mine Marine drop. 4 Marines and a Mine. Hit the main base and nothing was ready to deal with it. Hellions do get cleared in the net. We don't have blink quite yet either. So it's going to be 4 Stalkers. Mine needs to retarget. No, it doesn't. Ooh, even on burrows. That was kind of sloppy. Absolutely not necessary. Does lift the mine here into the medevac. And we'll get on out of there. We have a second barracks. Raven. Second tank coming up as well. Clem is opting to go for the 3-gate blink. So wants to do something aggressive. The problem that I'm having here with him wanting to do something aggressive is that he doesn't really have any defenses behind this, which is still scary. And he's taking a risk every time he moves out with everything. Like this is 3 Marines and a mine. It's not like it's going to wipe this mineral line in 3 seconds, but you're going to need more than just 1 Stalker in order to deal with it. As 6 Stalkers now move across the map, there is a tank ready. I think this is going to be a fairly mediocre attack here out of Clem, although he does run by, gets, well, 1 kill, 2 SCV kills, 2 Marine kills and loses a Stalker. It's not the dream start that he was hoping for. This Raven gets spotted by the probe. At the same time, the medevac goes into the main base. I mean, this actually is a very nice play out of Cure. Let's see if he's going to be capable of getting any worker kills as well with it, though. Nice play by itself isn't good enough, as 3-4 workers end up falling. Retarget does not retarget. Is the Raven still alive? Yep, and full HP as well. Couple of Stalkers going down on the other side. I actually think this is a fairly even start. Very action-packed first 5 minutes. But at the end of the day, I think we're pretty much defaulting to an even mid game, which is funny. Usually when you have this much action early on, there is a kind of a clear winner after the early. But I don't really see that being the case here. Mainly because Cure's stim and combat is so late. And I feel like his second and third barracks in general were very late to the party. Perhaps not entirely necessary to be that late even. Behind this, Clem going up to 5-ish, 6 gateways. Sorry, not 5. In this case, I actually wouldn't mind seeing like a Templar Archives build either. Like this is also another one of these things where I'm like, man, just having the flexibility to play multiple styles I think would be huge. But Clem loves just going for these charge, blink builds, and then transitioning into Colossus, because that's what he knows best. I really do believe that Storm would have been a powerful addition here. 57 workers to 44. 30C has started, but not even halfway done. Cure also slightly supply blocked here, which is actually going to hurt his first push out. Will not be capable of producing any more units for a little bit. Now he can start again. As this medevac moves back home, we have the Raven with 2 auto turrets currently available. This is also something that I've seen Clem do a lot, by the way, is where he'll kind of sit on 3 bases in what feels like a pretty significant gamble to me. Like, if Clem does not get a good fight before Cure hits 135 supply, and Cure gets like 4 to 6 mines, I actually think Cure is going to be in a really good spot. Because the tech is late, the fort base is non-existent, and yes, eco is important for Terran, but it's not that important right now. If he just gets to a high enough worker count, or a high enough supply count, Stalker Zealot falls off a freaking cliff. So the longer Cure waits with a move out, the better it actually is going to be for him. This Prism now hits the main base as well. That's going to be 4 Zealots here in the mineral line. We're going to get another big Zealot warp in as well. This is extremely all-in out of Clem. This is this is actually quite all-in out of him. He's gonna do quite a bit of damage. He's now trying to clear this army as well. Cure's not microing it, and Cure as a result is gonna lose a couple of Marines. Tanks trying to siege up as the Zealots are closing the distance. 2 tanks will fall as Clem is bleeding out a little bit of supply, but has killed 7 workers, giving himself some more breathing room as he finally adds a fort base in the mix. I mean, this has been a great attack, really. This has just been a great attack for Clem. He denied a lot of mining time, cleared a couple of workers. Most importantly, his Prism is still alive. That means that these run-bys and these fly-ins can continue happening as one Marauder is going to get taken out. It's going to cost him 2 Zealots. Not entirely worth the trade. Vikings now show up as well and will kill this Prism. I think a recall won't be in time unless he manages to run away. No, he won't manage to run away. Do we have Concussive Shell yet, by the way? Doesn't look like it, right? No, oh no, he does. Does have Concussive Shell. Third base in a little bit of trouble. Cure, the main story though, with this push, is that Cure has been at 100 supply for the past minute and a half. And that is a very big deal. Because now that means that Clem has the, kind of the room to go into a Robo Bay. He has the space to get a fort base up and running as well. And right now that he's getting better tech, it's actually fine to go into 130, 140 supply. You know, it is okay. Before it was a major issue because he was stuck on Stalker Zealot. But right now, you're adding in some Colossus. Your army is going to trade much better. Pretty much until you start hitting like 160, 170, 180 supply. That is when the Terran army becomes much stronger again. And you're going to need another flavor into that Protoss force. It's kind of like a... You can have these power spikes that Terran has at certain supplies, and Protoss needs to kind of keep up on tech in order to deal with that. Because the Terran army just scales very well into higher supplies. While Protoss, if they stick with basic units, most of the time, they really don't. Colossus are going to come in here. It's going to be 5 base versus 3, which means that Clem, I think, could just take any type of trade at this point, as long as he doesn't lose any of the main units. And really the main characters of this army are going to be the Colossus, obviously. We have a Zealot run by, legitimately a couple of Zealots, just trying to clear some SCVs. Would have loved to see him add 5, 6, 7 more probes, but so far that's not the case quite yet. Cure's trying to run in here, seeing if he can do something. Zealot's going to clear that tank. How many Zealots is he going to lose for that? That is a very small price to pay for a tank, I think. He only lost 2 Zealots. Ooh, now he's going to accidentally charge him forward, or is that an accident? I'm not so sure. Anti-armor missile is going to get used here as well. 2 Vikings still active in the sky. Third one shows up. Marauders with the reinforcements on the bottom side. We're going to need another stim, but the energy on the medevacs is not looking great here. 140 supply to 121. And I really do believe that Cure needs to piss off here, at least for a little bit longer. And he needs to just get a higher army supply. He needs a bigger Viking count and ideally mix in a Ghost or 2 as well. Because without Ghost at this point, it is possible if you have enough Vikings to trade well and if you have a couple of mines in the mix. But I would really like seeing a Ghost Academy and a couple of Ghosts. +2 is on the way. Fort CC is coming in as well. Supplies are very close. And I actually think Cure right now has an obligation to himself to just sit back, relax, heal up his army, add in 2 more medevacs, add in perhaps 4 more Vikings into the mix. So we go up to like 10 Vikings. I think that's going to be a really neat number here. Get that Ghost Academy going and then go for like a +2 timing attack. If you're hitting with 170, 180 supply, +2 attack, 10 Vikings, 2 Ghosts, it doesn't really matter what army Protoss has. Terran usually is just going to be capable of taking winning fights. And it's on the Protoss player to try and cause enough chaos so that these fights cannot happen on their side of the map, right? Protoss is good at reinforcing into battles. Terran is good at winning battles. As we now have a beautiful DT split here across 3 bases. I think that's just game. I just don't think there's quite enough orbital commands over here. As 7 SCVs do end up falling. Turrets are on the way. 8 SCVs go down already. At the same time, Clem pushes him forward. Viking count is getting decimated here as well. And that is basically going to reset all the progress that Cure had over the past few minutes. And I think that is just going to be it here. Clem is going to take game number 1 of his best of 5. Clem's Protoss versus Terran actually has a lot of similarities with his Terran versus Zerg matchup, where he's extremely aggressive, he fights a lot for map control, and then with the help of drops kind of pulls his opponent apart. And he's just constantly in your opponent's face and almost using that Zealot Stalker force, even with Colossus mixed in, kind of like a marine mine setup near a Zerg base, you know, kind of slowly moving on creep, pulling away again, and then back and forth, trying to poke holes the entire time. I do believe, however, that if Cure manages to get a setup and get to those supply numbers that he needs to hit, Clem is just in a lot of trouble because his worker count tends to be low. His tech is really quite late. MaxPax has a fairly similar style, but the one thing that I always appreciate out of MaxPax is that he is really keen on taking faster bases as well as just teching a little bit quicker. So slightly less all-in, slightly less aggressive perhaps, but you just have a little bit more potential in the game if you're not dealing that damage. You could say that Clem plays it less safe than MaxPax does, because he really puts a lot of eggs into this very aggressive basket. All right, let's take a look at what he's going to do this time. I am fully expecting a 3-grade blink here out of him. Like I said, no innovation out of this guy. Usually going to have Marine into, I think it was a factory late reactor. No, that's not correct. It was actually Marine into reactor. So he's going to have 3 Marines for the first adept. He's going to have 5 Marines for the second adept. And then there's going to be a Hellion out as well. Let's take a look at the dancing here that Clem is going to be doing with these adepts in first person as well. It's always fun to see this. Okay, he's going to try clearing one of these. There goes number 1. Could perhaps go for a second one later on. I mean, this is basically like using Hellions, but different, you know? You're just there on the... Oh, it's a DT drop. Oh, that's a build we don't actually see a whole lot. I think this was a response to what he scouted as well. No, it's not. Because he went Robo before... He went Robo before he started Blink, which is a very rare move. You only do this if you're going for a DT drop. And it's double adept as well, no Stalker behind it. Okay. Banshee is coming in. Of course, our good friend Clem is not aware of that. If Cure doesn't get the scout, he could potentially just straight up lose to this. This is such an uncommon build order that he might not be ready for this whatsoever. Like, whatsoever. Prism now on the way. Cloak and Banshee, number 1. We're gonna see Banshee number 2. Here comes the Prism. Oh, that's a big scout here for Cure. Let's see if he knows his timings. Let's see if he knows his timings well. This scan cannot be used for anything. I'm expecting a Raven. This should have been a Raven. We're getting a bunker. He does not know his timings. This Prism is way too fast for a 3-gate blink, my brother. Oi, 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 oi. Here comes the single. Here comes the double DT. Full wall. Oh, wait, maybe this is the plan? The full wall and take it from there? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, he had no plan. He had no plan here whatsoever. We're gonna get one scan off. Prism almost dies. The guy has 6 HP remaining as he now enters. 7 energy away from our next scan. This is a terrible start here for Cure. Absolutely awful. God-awful read by him, though, so he deserves everything he's getting right now. Seeing that Prism 4 minutes in, you should know that's not going to be a fast blink build, buddy. You should know that. Absolutely. Cloak Banshee perhaps might be capable of dealing some counter damage, though. As you already get 3 workers. That's number 4. That's number 5. And that's a lot of working time. A lot of mining time there that's being lost. Meanwhile, Cure, really late on these extra barracks. So that means once again his follow-up push is just going to be super freaking delayed. Banshee comes in, we'll get a free kill over here. That's one probe that will fall. Maybe try to target an adept. It's gonna go for the pylon here. As the DT drop continues to deal some damage. This thing is practically gone, so right? It's practically gone. One Viking. I'd warp in a Viking over here, I think. Yeah. Absolutely. Correct call. Because it's just going to be frustrating to have to deal with this thing coming back in at some point. It's not what you want to be doing. It's not what you want to be spending your time on. Okay, he just let the cloak run out accidentally. Which is really bad because there actually is no observer nearby. It's coming back right now. 2 more workers go down. Banshee is stuck over here. Oh. Here goes the Prism. Might get caught if Cure pays attention. Cure's falling asleep. Okay. He just let it go. He just let it go there. That is just sloppy. 2 more SCVs go down. Prism gets to escape. Viking is out right now. He's gonna get the kill here, isn't it? Absolutely. Hop. There you go. DT did not manage to drop out either, by the way. Blink Stalkers blink on forward. This is a significantly better start for Clem than in the previous game. He's dealt a lot of damage to his opponent. He has a much faster Robo-Bay, and I'm expecting a fort here as well coming down right now. I would even have loved to see that fort go down before the Prism. I understand that he wanted to wait, but I think it was absolutely a viable play here. Getting a much faster fort base and a Robo-Bay here as well. There's going to be a push coming in out of Cure, but unless he loses all of these Stalkers for free, I don't really see a way for Clem to die. I mean, it's always theoretically possible, but it's going to be 3 Rex versus 7 Gate. He still hasn't built that fort, though. He's getting a lot of Zealot warp-ins. Needs to be careful with these Stalkers as well. Cure pushes on forward. Clem could start his first Colossus, as well as Thermal Lance. We don't have any Zealots in this move yet. Oh, he forgot about Charge. That actually could have been quite bad. Charge is still 30 seconds away. He's not chronoing it either. Wait, what? No, this would be a terrible blunder. If Cure manages to hit before Charge finishes up, this is just game. Zealots without speed are completely useless. He's still not chronoing this, 10 seconds away. Okay, we get 3 force fields, 2 force fields to stop this for a little bit. We don't have a flank set up yet either. He's gonna come through the middle as SCVs are being pulled. We need a flank here right now. We desperately require a flank. You need something to deal with those tanks in the back. Okay, here we go. Guardian Shield not being activated as Clem collapses on top of this army. Pulls back a lot of the probes. And I think that his units have actually died. Most of everything that he has is gone. Zealots now coming in from the side. Prism dies. Prism dies. And that might actually just be it. Colossus plus Prism falling there means that Cure is gonna have just barely enough stuff to push through. The next Colossus is not out here quite yet. And Clem is actually gonna end up falling. Was not picking off reinforcements, and Cure ties up the series. Honestly surprised how easily Cure just managed to win there. Clem not having charge yet meant that he couldn't counterattack with the Prism, and thus you're not cutting off reinforcements. If you're cutting off reinforcements, it becomes much easier to hold these types of pushes. You can often just give up a base. This is one of the things that sounds very kind of counterintuitive, especially if you tell this to Terran players, because Terran players have trouble understanding most things in life. But against 2-base all-ins as a Protoss, it's often very nice to have a 4th Nexus. Because then you can give up one of your other bases without losing any real income. Well, if you have a 4th Nexus, if you don't have a 4th Nexus and you lose one base, the Terran is pretty much already, they've already succeeded, right? They can send their SCVs back home, play 2-base versus 2-base, they're ahead now. And it just allows you to take a better fight, basically. It allows you to take more time. It gives you maybe 15, 20 more seconds. You're like, well, 15 to 20 more seconds. For 400 minerals, is it worth it? Yeah, probably. 15, 20 more seconds might be a thermal lens upgrade. It might be a second Colossus. Like, all of these things benefit you way more than having 3.5 extra Zealots in a fight. Yeah, just something to think about. Which is why I often believe that just getting a faster 4th Nexus as a Protoss is just the better call. Because if if they spend like 15, 20 seconds killing that Nexus, it's like, oh, that's fine. You can give up your 3rd base as well much more easily. It's just nice. It's really nice to... What the hell is he playing here? Mr. Cure, this build seems idiotic. I love it. What was this? I missed the early game. Did he have a Reaper? No. He played Marine into Hellion and forgot to build a starport. There's gonna be like 3 racks behind this? Look how much cash he's floating. This is cash city over here, baby. You don't have a proxy starport anywhere, right? This looks like the type of build that would have a proxy, but he forgot the proxy part. Absolutely forgot the proxy part. Okay, so this is he misplaced the... he misplaced this. That's not great. Okay, we're gonna get the 4 Hellion run by. Oh, right, he started with an eBay block, that's why. I forgot about it. Ah, so with the eBay block, this type of build order is actually quite powerful. He's gonna catch a couple. He's gonna get a lot of probe kills here. Ooh, misclicked! Huge blunder there out of Cure. Had he not misclicked that, I think he just gets another like freaking 5 workers. He's gonna get a couple more anyway. 7 workers going down here against this initial 4 Hellion play. Finally the factory is gonna move over. This Cyclone should have already been done. It's gonna be a little bit harder to deal with the Phoenix right now. Follow-up will be 3 barracks. The Cure's just floating a lot of cash. A lot of cash right now. His build order has not been well thought out. Having the factory not on the tech lab so he couldn't produce anything is also not doing him any favors, but it just feels like an inaccurate build order. He's just floating too many resources for this to be a real build. I don't actually believe it. It also seems like he's going into a Cyclone Marine follow-up, which makes no sense whatsoever if you just delayed your first Cyclone for like 40 seconds. I think even if this was your plan, this is kind of crazy to do right now. I think this is actually kind of crazy to do. We have, what, 7, 8 Marines, 1 Cyclone. There should be 2, 3 Cyclones already here. Guess it's just going to remain a fake push out, and I do appreciate that very much. We don't have a starport yet. We do have an eBay coming in, as well as the extra gases on the natural being taken right now. Ooh. Phoenix manages to stay alive. Combat shield. Starport goes up in the main. I don't understand why everything is so late on Cure's side. It feels like usually with this type of 3 racks build, like if you go factory into 3 racks, your starport is actually really fast. And you might be capable of moving out on the map something like 6 minutes already, but he must have made some type of executional errors. Clem's follow-up, by the way, was Twilight before Nexus. Now, this is a risk that you take. Basically, what you're saying, if you go Twilight before 3rd Nexus, like, hey, if you're going to go for like a tank marine push-out without stim and combat, this is going to be great, because I'm going to have really quick charge before you expect it. And I'll clear your push-out. I'm going to be in a great spot. My eco will suffer a bit. However, if your opponent doesn't move out, You just got a really fast charge for no reason, and you delayed your third phase. You can't really do anything aggressive with it. So this is like it's not really an all-in, but it's like a defensive play, a super defensive play. You can see it similar as like adding like 5 batteries, basically. It's like, okay, that costs you a lot of eco, and it's not really going to pay off right now, right? It costs you 500 minerals, but also you could have had a faster Nexus instead of building these 5 batteries. That is basically the exact same thing here, is getting a Twilight Council and that fast charge. So Clem already did not have a great early game. He definitely does not have a great early game right now, and that is going to make his mid game suffer. Absolutely. We're going to be 3 gas versus 3 gas, 8 gate. I think it's going to be the plan. We have a late Templar Archives. This is not in time. Feels like it's going to be for Archons more so than for Storm. Because we don't even have a Robo yet, as these Phoenixes are taking a little bit of a beating. I'm just gonna try. I mean, you can't attack. You can't fight this army, I think. But if he can't fight his army, then he might just be dead, no? If you actually just get like 2 mines in this force, I think it's game over. Like, this army is so freaking bad against mines right now. Cure's early game just a little bit too good. +1 has finished up as well. It is a decent Zealot count. I love how he's using the Cyclones, by the way. Kind of forcing Clem to charge on top of the Cyclones. We do get a big stim. I wonder if he's going to feedback the Medivacs or if he's going to research Storm. I think he's just going to turn them into Archons here. Yeah, there you go. Oh, here comes the Phoenix flank. From the right side. No, that's nothing. Guardian Shield. He's very patient here. Okay, Guardian Shield gets activated. Terran now knows that this is going to be it for realsies as the Phoenixes start fighting, but Kier just has so much freaking stuff. Archon's gonna get targeted down here as well. Do we have any more Zealot Warpins? I think the answer is just no. Kier is gonna be taking game number 3 here as well after a very interesting early game. 4 Hellion run by after the eBay block. I think Clem is going to need to tap out over here. I mean, he just does not have what it takes for now. Beat Cure in this game number 3. It's not even if he survived, right? Doesn't have a fort base, doesn't have any follow-up tech. Like, he's just as dead as they come. Even if Clem magically were to press a button and make this army disappear, it just would not be good enough. GG. Game 4 will be played on Torches, one of the new maps that has a healing fountain on it. I haven't actually once seen a healing fountain be used yet, but interesting to see nonetheless. Oh, it's going to be another eBay block. I wonder if Clem is going to change his approach to the eBay block. So there's 2 main approaches. The first one is to go for what we call an 18 scout on your own natural. So that means that or a 19 scout is the 18th worker basically gets rallied down. So that would be this one. Okay, he's actually going to do that. This one gets rallied down. This is a very consistent response against eBay block because you're always going to be capable of stopping at. By the way, he just did a detour to dodge the probe, which is cool as hell. So they're basically going to arrive here at exactly the same time. You can pull 3 more workers on top of the initial one that you already pulled. And this is the perfect scenario for Protoss. However, if you're not being eBay blocked, you lose about 10 minerals because you send a worker down a bit too early. Oh, he's actually pulling 5. Or, yeah, 5 total. So 4 extra, 5 total. It's a mistake. It's going to delay either his pylon or his Nexus a little bit. So we're either going to get a supply blocked or he's not going to have enough cash for the Nexus. And he's going for the supply block here, actually. Yeah, there we go. So Nexus. Oh, it's even building one more. This is really bad. Yeah, this is really bad. It's a very poor execution of the build order by Clem. So this pylon is going to be like 8 seconds too late right now. So that means that the first adept is going to be delayed by 8 seconds. And also the second adept will be delayed by about 8 seconds. So core finishes here. 158. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it starts. It's like 9 seconds-ish. 9 seconds on of delay there on the adept. Just poor execution. That is not necessary whatsoever. If you're dealing with this eBay block, if you execute properly, you build your pylon at 20, you build your Nexus at 20, and you only pull 4 workers total, you have absolutely no issues here whatsoever. Might have been capable of actually doing something, because this is a fairly greedy build behind it. It is fast factory, delayed reactor, late factory as well. really quite a late factory. No, not sorry, early factory, not late. What am I saying? It's an early factory, so the Hellion at least will be done. But if you hit in time, if you hit 8 seconds earlier, maybe you can get a kill on this SCV. At least hit it once or twice. Second Adept would be here in time to help out as well, which would be huge. Might get an easier scout on, you know, onto this factory to see what the second unit is gonna be. I still think Clem is in a fine spot, because if you clear the eBay like he did just now, you're usually just going to be in a fine spot. Hellion's gonna go across. Oh, this sucks. Stalker's gonna pop out, but if this Hellion just straight up runs in, this could actually be an issue. And at the same time, we have these Adepts going down. Oh, he wanted to scout the main base. I think this is a blunder. I think whenever your Hellion gets in, you just want to kill probes. Because you're going to figure out what tech your opponent is going for anyway. If the third unit's going to be an Adept, most likely it's Stargate. If it is a Stalker, and you see this gate timing, it's most likely going to be Blink. So you don't really have to scout anymore. You can just kind of gather most information just by, you know, just seeing what attacks you. And seeing that actually the timing on the second gate is a huge deal. You usually don't get such a fast second gate if you're playing Phoenixes, because your warp gate tends to be delayed. So you don't want it as quick. You can delay it by like 15 to 20 seconds. Quick tips for the Terrans watching. It's a good tell usually. Okay, it's a very good tell. Siege tank comes in as the follow-up. We're once again going for really late second and third barracks on the side of Cure. That's what it feels like, as he has a 6 Marine and mine drop. Taking 2 volleys, 3 volleys here on the medevac. Clem almost loses a Stalker there to the mine, but barely manages to pull out in time. Oh no, he's gonna lose a Stalker to the mine and splash damage on top of it. This is actually kind of painful. At the same time, we do have the Adepts in the main base also dealing quite a bit of damage. Medevac has now fallen. 3, 4 probes, 5 probes. No, 4 probes are gonna get taken out. 5 probes are gonna get taken out. And that will be about it. Second barracks on the way. Hellion coming in. Once again going to be just a heavy focus on Blink Stalkers here for Clem. Has lost a lot of workers, but I think Cure has also lost enough workers that this is fine for Clem. It's 2 versus 6. I'm not loving the position that Cure's in. He's going for a naked Banshee. No cloak. Just a single naked Banshee. This is a really rare response. You almost never see this. So you have a battery coming up in the main base already, which is also kind of rare. You also almost never see this. Clem blinks him forward. It's going to deal no damage. Loses a Stalker. Not entirely what he wanted, I think. This battery is going to finish up in about 5 seconds. I think 3 workers will end up falling here. Be surprised if it's much more than that. Yeah, it's gonna be 2. Oh, he missed-targeted one. He shot this one once and he shot this one once. Bit of a mistake. Natural still naked as well, by the way. No battery there. If Cure realizes that, he could have gotten 3-4 kills. There's no Stalkers here, dude. Clem's getting away with murder. Oh, we have some damage here at the same time as well. I guess the tanks are all in the main base. Banshee's gonna continue dealing damage. I think he just sacrifices Banshee's life to get like a couple more worker kills here. Oh! One more. Whew. 8 kills on this Banshee. That brings us to a total of, what, 14 worker kills? Against 3. Cure's getting stim. He's going double Viking? What the hell has this guy been eating? Whatever it is, I don't want it. That seems terrible. Double Viking? This is such a lazy response to a Prism, I think. I think single Viking is enough, but he really wants to kill it. He doesn't just want to shoo it away. He wants to get the kills here. He's gonna get the kills. So in that case, it's worth it. Then that's 10 supply that you're taking out. Wow. Okay, this should just be game over. I mean, this is just game over. This is guaranteed to be game over. Like, I don't understand how Clem is going to hold the incoming push. His 5 extra gates are really freaking slow. We're going to have Stim, Combat Shield, +1 won't be done. We might even have some mines in the mix. We have Vikings that can add some ground DPS and a bit of tanking as well. Vikings relatively good against, honestly, everything Protoss. Like, their damage output is really not bad, though. It's going to fly them by. Yeah, it could work. Could definitely work. Have these mineral fields over here that can be mined. I'm so curious what Cure's plan is going to be. Clem is going for... It doesn't have a prism. So he's just getting Immortal, Stalker, Zealot, Sentry. It should be close to impossible for him. You know what sounds dumb if you're ahead, but is actually really good in this situation? If you go for a worker pool. If you pull 30, 40 SCVs, well not 30, like 25 SCVs right now, I think it's practically unlosable because there's no splash. And your Marines are going to be insane with such a shield in front of them. Okay, here comes Clem. Tank's not sieged up. Mine's not quite set up either. Mines do need some decent connections. They get okay connections. Okay, this is still looking really freaking bad for Clem. He's just down 20 supply. Marine count is absolutely banging here as well. As more and more mines move in forward. As Clem will try to pull back. But this Immortal is going to fall. I just don't think there's really anything here for Clem to still do. Yeah. He tried so hard. He got so far. His armor's actually fairly damaged. Still a lot of Stalkers out as well. Can Clem hold? He continues microing back. We have another Zealot Warp in. Pylon might get smashed though. And GG gets called. Indeed, it's Cure who's going to be winning this series with a 3-1 score.